Hey everybody, Sean here, Boosted Miata, and this is an Atoto in-car entertainment system. This is a double DIN Android head unit, and this is another one of those big floating head units with the screen that floats off the front of the head unit, made by Atoto. We're gonna check it out right now, so come on, let's do this. This unit came out about, I want to say about maybe 3 months ago, and it recently became available on Amazon, so I picked it up. Of course, this is not a paid promotion. I buy these things myself and check them out. So let's go ahead and open this up. I like Atoto. They have great documentation. Well, not great, but they have pretty decent documentation. They usually have a manual and then warranty and some minor installation instructions. They don't go too deep, but a lot better than a lot of other Chinese head unit manufacturers. Put that aside. So this appears to be the screen. Yeah, that is the screen. And then this is the head unit itself. Oh, hello. All right. Alright, so let's start by opening up the head unit itself. Floating screen head units have become super popular in the last year or so. And this one's a little different, and you'll see why. And here's why. You notice that on the front of this unit, it's actually got controls. So these would actually sit behind the screen. And depending on how high you have the screen, they could be hidden or they could be visible. And here is the screen. So this is a 10-inch 1024 by 600 screen. And there it is. So it has capacitive touch, unfortunately, buttons to control media, home button, I guess that's map. And then that's your mic, voice assistant mic, I guess. Cool. But it feels pretty solid. It swivels all ways. It looks like it has okay tilt side to side. Maybe that's about 15 to 20 degrees. Up and down, maybe a little bit more. Definitely down it has more. And in terms of placement, it's got this, runs on this little track. And it's kind of nice. You can kind of move it easily. You don't have to struggle to move the screen on the ball joint mount. But I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but it's got some, I don't know if they're fingerprints or scrub marks. I'm hoping that all comes off. I'm going to give it a quick wipe down with a screen wipe. Well, this is unfortunate. The screen already has some little scratches in it, and there's some abrasions I can see here. That's really hard for you guys to see it probably if you don't get the right angle. But let me see if I can get it close. This is the material they use to cover it, and you know, it's soft, but I think it's a little too abrasive, and I think that's a packaging mistake because I can see the abrasions, the scuff marks. What a bummer. I think I'm going to probably end up sending this back, but let's continue on with the review. So let's go ahead and assemble this thing. Let's pull this out. All right. Why am I struggling with this? This should not be this hard to do. Hold on. It's on there now. Yeah, I'm going to insert it into that socket there. Right there. And I should hear a nice satisfying click as I push it in. And there it is. Clicked in. And there she is. Atotos have been out for a while. You would probably consider them mid to low end brand for head units. Let's real quick talk about some of the technical specs on this head unit. So this unit is the A6Y1021PR, also known as the A6 Pro. 2 GB memory, 32 GB storage. This is their biggest unit. This is the most expensive unit they make. So the actual screen itself, which includes the capacitive touch and all that, measures about 11 3/4 across. The viewable screen, that's the LED behind this, is exactly, I'm coming up with about 10 inches. They say 10.1. Okay. So this thing has 6 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 would be the little volume button under here. This comes with a SoC chip, MTK 8127A. It's a sock-based quad-core running at 1.5 gigahertz. It comes with a ARM Mali-450 MP4 graphics processor. It runs the Atoto customized version of Android Marshmallow, which is Android 6. It has a built-in Toshiba preamp, which gives you 4 channels at 49 watts, RMS 4 at 29 watts. It's an IPS LED screen, 178 viewable, 178 degrees of view, which is good. So let's just kind of go over everything in the back here. Unlike the Dasata, this is a much simpler head unit. Doesn't have a whole lot going on in the back. In here, this extra box, we have the USB dongle. One is a 2 amp quick charge, and the other one is just an easy connect, probably for your phone or other storage device. Comes with a GPS antenna with adhesive on one side. Comes with a microphone with the standard 1/8 mini jack here. Comes with a really cool, this is nice because I think these are nice quality Wi-Fi antennas that you can actually mount anywhere in your vehicle. This is nice because a lot of these head units only come with a little tiny antenna that goes on the back. This actually comes with a pretty decent Wi-Fi antenna. And then of course you've got the harness. Again, this is really simple compared to some other ones. Everything's clearly marked in English what it is. And this is your, appears to be your steering wheel serial steering wheel controller if needed. Some mounting plates and screws. And then these are the, I believe these are the installation instructions. Nice color little brochure. Okay, so this is where your main harness goes in. Here we have the microphone connection and the steering wheel connection right here. Here we have your phono and video in. We've got right in, left in. We got a video in, so it's got 3 video connections. These are, standard definition or component video connectors. We've got a sub connector, which is also yellow. They've got another video in. I believe that is for the front camera, and then a rear camera in here. And then we got front right, front left, rear left. We've got another USB connector socket right here. We've got the USB connector for the dual dongles there. We've got the Wi-Fi connector, and we've got the GPS connector and the antenna socket right there. On the front here, we've got another USB socket. I imagine that's where you're going to put your CarPlay dongle if you have it, or maybe that's where you would connect up your music on a USB stick if that's how you roll. Then we have the reset button, which we talked about, microphone, the volume power button, which is old school and cool. We've got the micro SD slot, and then the auxiliary in for you old school iPod users who want to just rock it that way. Very cool. All right, I have the Atoto all ready for some bench testing. I hooked it up to some little speakers here. These are some motorcycle speakers I had lying around. Just decided to hook those up just to see how this thing sounds. Have it on my 12-volt supply here, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the overhead lights here so we can see the screen. And let's go ahead and fire it up. This is a cold boot. but that was almost a minute. I counted about 50 seconds boot up time. So that's a pretty long cold boot up. We can test a warm boot right now. I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect the accessory wire. It's been about 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and hook this up. So this is a warm boot. And that's like instantaneous. Pretty cool. First impressions on the screen looks pretty good. Not super sharp. The colors look good. So this is the default UI, and it's typical Android stuff. So this looks like it has your radio, then your media player, and it looks like you can put icons that you want on each one of these pages. There's 3 pages here. And then you have the All Apps button here, which takes you into all the apps you have installed. Then when I hit the home button, it'll take me back to this. Now, if you're familiar with Android, then you know about setting up shortcuts and adding additional pages to your home screen. And it's pretty simple to do. So let's go to the 3rd page here. And if you long press it, you'll bring up your settings. And you have wallpapers here, you have widgets, and you have settings, which I believe will take you to the settings, which we'll look at in a bit. But we can go into widgets. And then, of course, widgets are available little tiny things that you can put on your screen that many apps that you have will include widgets. So, for instance, looks like we have some Google Map widgets. Looks like we've got an inbox, so that's probably a Gmail widget. And you just hold it and just drag it onto the screen where you want it and drop it. And there you go. So I just dropped a Spotify widget right there. So if you get creative, you can do some really cool stuff with the Android UI. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go and I want to change that background. I don't like it. So I'm going to go to wallpapers here. Let's just select something a little different. Well, something a little more generic. We'll select that. We're going to set it. Done. There we go. Simple as that. So let's just jump into the settings really quick and talk about what's available there. So we're going to go into settings. Of course, you have your Wi-Fi. Now you have Bluetooth 2. Bluetooth 2 is the secondary Bluetooth module that comes on these Atotos. The Bluetooth 1 is the phone Bluetooth. So that's how you connect your phone. Bluetooth 2 is for any other devices you have, like a speaker, if you wanted to hook up a speaker like this one here, or say you want to hook up a Bluetooth OBD2 sender like this one here. You would use Bluetooth 2 to do it. You can also use it to hook up an additional smartphone. If you just want to use this phone for, let's say, internet connectivity through Bluetooth, you can do that. It's got a data usage, which just shows you what's going on with your data usage. You'll probably never ever use that unless you have to track data for some reason. Under more, it just has a VPN. Then down here under the device settings, you have default settings, which include your navigation app selection. This one here, the pin drop, that is your default navigation app. So that's what you can set there. Then voice command navigation set is this button here, and then you can set a default voice assistant. In this case, voice search is set, I believe it's set on Google Assistant. Here's your steering wheel program. It allows you to program your steering wheel. I don't have that on my car. I don't use steering wheel controls, but this, if you did, this is where you would program them. Video watching prohibition. This will allow you to turn it on and off, so it will lock out video watching while the car is moving. Image reverse for your rear camera. This would make your rear camera view look like your rear view mirror. I have that turned on. Reverse mute switch. That would allow you to mute the sound while you're in reverse. Rear camera guideline, that is to turn on your reverse guidelines on your reverse camera. A lot of reverse cameras have it built in, so you probably want to have that turned off. Sound. Text sounds, these are the sounds that the screen makes when you touch it. So those are turned on, it makes a little beep. Loudness, that's that little extra little bassiness that you can give your sound. I'll just turn that on. Volume adjustments, so these are your phone adjustment. This would be your Bluetooth phone adjustment, and this would be your volume adjustment. You can see here it's adjusting it right there. Equalizer. So this has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 frequency adjustment. And it has these default settings here. And I guess you can go in and adjust them individually. Listening position, again, this is pretty standard stuff these days. If you have 4 speakers, it allows you to adjust the fade between your front and rears. I don't have rear speakers, so I usually just put it all in the front like that. Then you have your subwoofer out. Now, just want to talk about this for a minute. I don't have a subwoofer in my vehicle, so I don't have to worry about this, but I have heard that the subwoofer volume setting is a little wonky. So if you do use it and you set it to manual, this sets the volume of your subwoofer, but this doesn't change with the standard volume. So your subwoofer volume will always remain the same. It won't adjust in manual mode. I believe in automatic mode, it will adjust. So let's go on to display. Under display, you've got brightness level, pretty standard. So auto brightness, so you've got headlight and you've got time. Now, the time, you can't really set the times. It's built in automatically. I think it's 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. is what it determines is the correct time to set your brightness to low. That is weird. I wish there was a way to adjust that, because obviously during the summer months, 6 p.m. I think would be too early. I use the headlight default, so I will use the illumination connection on the harness, so my headlights, I'll actually control it. But remember, you can always override that with the brightness control right here on the screen, which is nice. Wallpaper, you can select live wallpapers. So it's got these cool wallpapers here. Let's check it out. Cool. How do I set this though? I just go, oh, set wallpaper. Did it set it? Yeah, cool. That's pretty cool. Font size, pretty standard. And there's small, normal, large, and huge. Then panel display. This is where you can select the color of your LEDs on the left here, the capacitive touch LED. I have it on red. All right. Then under apps, again, this is pretty standard stuff. This allows you to control app permissions. You can force stop an app and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much the standard Android app control. Storage and USB. This just shows what's available internally on storage. This particular unit has 32 gigabytes of storage and it has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Then it'll show you your portable storage. I have an SD card in there, 32 gig SD card, and it's showing me what I've got on there. And you probably can, if you click on it, you probably can look at it, right? There's a file explorer here. Very cool. And then memory. So this is showing you what's being used in your memory. So under personal, it has location. And I guess what it's doing here, it's showing you what apps are accessing your location. Security, unknown sources. Okay, so this would allow you to install APKs from unknown sources, so not from the Play Store. Auto start management. So this is showing apps that are requesting auto start, and here you can turn that off. And then of course app permissions. So this is showing apps by permission type as opposed by app. Data protection. So it looks like you can set a pattern pin to protect data on your device. So I guess whenever you use the Data Explorer, the File Explorer, and so forth, you'll probably be prompted for a PIN. Credential storage, storage type, hardware backed, trusted. I don't usually get into this stuff. It's pretty advanced security stuff you're probably not going to have to worry about. So we got screen lock here. Now, this is interesting. You get this big warning about locking your screen. But this is interesting. You can actually set up a Bluetooth unlock device. So when the Atoto connects with your phone, it will unlock or give you an option to unlock. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to get into this. I think this is pretty advanced right now. So I'm going to skip this for now. But this looks interesting. I may look into this in a little bit. Accounts. So these would just be like your Google account. And I guess you can add other accounts. Language and input, pretty standard. United States, spell checker, uses Google, standard keyboard, etc. That's all pretty standard. That's all automatic. Usually you don't have to mess with that. Backup and reset. So this would allow you to back up your device. I think the way this would work is if you have a Google account, it will back it up to your Google Drive. So it says no backup account is selected, so it can't back it up, even though my data is on. But I think what I would need to do is make sure I download Google Drive on this device. And then under system, we got date and time. It's all set on automatic. You could set it manually if you like. Accessibility. This would be changing the display a little bit for easier to read. You can turn large text on, high contrast, etc. Again, this is all pretty standard stuff. Now, you see this developer options I have here. In order to get to developer options, you have to go into About Device. And I believe you go into Build Number. And you click on that about 7 times and it will open your developer options and then you'll see them here. Now under developer options, again, stuff you're probably never ever going to have to mess with unless you're using some things that require, for instance, USB debugging to be turned on. And sometimes you'll have an app that wants to use the USB connection to do like screen mirroring. And it will require you to turn on USB debugging. One of the cool things about Atoto is that it uses 2 separate Bluetooth modules for Bluetooth devices. It uses Bluetooth 1, which is here under the Bluetooth icon. This is your smartphone connection, and that's what it uses to connect to your smartphone so you can use your phone in your car on your head unit. Also, it's what it uses for streaming Bluetooth music through your phone. The interesting thing, it uses Bluetooth standard 5, which is a higher quality Bluetooth standard. If you read about it on the internet, you'll find that some people claim it is almost CD quality. There is a standard that's put out by Qualcomm. It's called aptX, I believe, and it is an enhanced version of Bluetooth 5, which really amps up the audio quality. Android devices support it, so if you have an Android phone, you'll probably even get better quality audio through your Bluetooth because this head unit could take advantage of it. But I do not believe iOS, like iPhones, use that Qualcomm standard. Any device that's any newer smartphone that's connected to this head unit should stream Bluetooth audio at a higher quality. So that's cool. Why don't we go ahead and dive into the apps that come installed on the Atoto. Go back to the home screen here and we'll check out the apps that are available. Of course, the first thing we're going to look at is the radio, and this is the radio widget. So this will show you what's available, and I think it'll allow you to skip through. Yeah, you can skip through frequencies here. It has a play pause, It has a search function, so it'll search for available stations. I don't have an antenna hooked up at the moment, so it's not going to find anything. All right, so you access the radio by hitting this little radio icon there. It's an antenna icon. And boom, you're on your radio. So the radio on these Android head units, the radio app is pretty simple, not terribly clear and intuitive, but very functional. Of course, this will get you AM and FM, and up here you have your AM FM selector. I'm going to go ahead and skip all the way over here to these icons here, and you'll notice right here there's a heart icon with some lines. That is your favorites or your presets. You'll notice I have 2 presets already set up. And setting up a preset is pretty simple. Once you tune to a station, you just long press it and it'll dump the station into a preset right here. Long press on that preset and you'll get a new dialog here that'll allow you to name that station. So let's say I'm going to call this Rock Billy. And you'll see that it has the name there. So you can name it by station ID, you can name it by frequency, you can do a combo. You can see that's what I've done there. The frequency selector, so that's the little pencil icon. You can go ahead and dial in a frequency you want to go to, like so. This antenna icon here will switch between local and not local. So what this does, it will limit the stations to local high quality stations in your area that have strong signals. So if you turn it off, you'll get everything. So this icon here with the magnifying glass and the play, that is a search and play function. So it'll search and stop at the next available station. This icon here without the play button in it is just a search function. So it'll scan, stop, scan, stop. And this icon here will show all detected stations that the radio has detected during its scan. It'll show all the detected stations. Moving up to the top here, you have traffic alert. So this will, when you press that, it will have the radio tuned to any traffic alerts that it detects and stop. And so you can hear a traffic alert. AF is auto frequency. What that will do is when you're traveling and say a station you're listening to is getting weaker, the auto frequency will adjust the frequency of the radio to keep that station in tune. So sometimes when you move around, stations will drift a little bit. So AF will allow the radio to adjust the frequency to maintain that station for as long as it can. PTY, these are presets that are available. So what you'll see here is you've got a ton of genres. So this will allow you to find stations that promote that genre. So like rock music, it'll tune to the nearest rock music station. Over here on the left, you have AM, FM band selection here. Pretty cool, pretty basic, but it's functional. All right, so let's go back and just check out some of the programs that are available. I'm going to go to all apps here real quick. AutoKit is what you would use when you connect the CarPlay dongle or the Android Auto dongle. You would use CarKit. It's built in. Auxiliary, that is the auxiliary video. So if you have an auxiliary video plugged in, that's how you access that. Bluetooth 1, that's your phone. And your streaming Bluetooth music. That is Explorer browser. I don't know why you would ever want to use that. Bluetooth music, that's your phone's music. That just brings you right back to the phone. And it defaults to the Bluetooth setting there. DAB+, so that's digital radio. We don't have that in North America. But again, this requires a dongle. You have to buy a separate dongle for this. And you can use it in Europe and in Asia, but we don't have it here in North America. So you won't be using that if you're in North America. Downloads, this opens up your downloads folder. DVR, so this is where you would access a USB camera. So Atoto sells what they call their dash cam, and this is where you would access it. It's a USB dash cam. Easy connection. So this is kind of a deprecated program. It doesn't work with the later versions of iOS. I believe it still works with Android, but it won't work with iOS anymore. And basically it used the Wi-Fi settings, AirPlay Wi-Fi settings on your iPhone to allow you to mirror your iPhone to your head unit, but it's not supported anymore by Apple. Front cam, again, this is like the auxiliary, but this is dedicated to the front camera. If you want to install a front camera, that's how you access it. File manager allows you to look at what's on your internal device, on the head unit, or on your SD cards or USB. Alrighty, very boring. Gmail, we know what that is. Google, you know what that is. GPS test. So this is nice. This is the GPS satellite tester to see the strength of your satellites. Okay, so here you have your music player. This is a built-in music player for your files, like MP3 files and so forth. You can see how it's taking a while searching for files on your system. So these are tracks I have on the SD card. It'll show you songs. It'll show you by what they call singer, artist. Here, it'll show you by album. You have it. And then collection, you can build your own collection. This would be favorites. So it's basic, but it's functional. Not bad. I would recommend, if you're into playing music locally on your Android head unit, not streaming it, but having higher quality audio on like an SD card like I do here, I would recommend like Amp Pro, some of these higher quality players that you can get off the Play Store. MX Player Pro, that's just a video player. What else we got here? Pandora, Play Music, the Play Store, Quick Charge. Now, Quick Charge allows you to take the quick charging dongle here to quickly charge a phone. If you are on Quick Charge, you may not be able to use this dongle for data. So it only will charge. It won't permit it to transfer and use it for data. You have to switch it back to standard charge to turn it into a regular USB socket. Quick pick. This is just a gallery viewer. You have a DVD player. I'm not sure what this is for. I guess if you plug in a USB DVD, you can access it through here. Torque. This is what you would use with your OBD2 sender. TPMS. So that is your tire pressure monitoring system. So you can buy a TPMS and it will allow you to sync up with this. Pretty cool. Video, I guess that's just a video player. I think this is looking at any videos that you may have somewhere on the system. Voice search, that's just going to activate your Google search assistant. And then of course there's YouTube. So that's it. Those are all pretty much everything that's installed on this Atoto unit. Let's just talk a little bit about what's down at the bottom of the screen. You've probably seen this if you're familiar with Android. You've got your back button, your home button, your open tasks or open programs. This is your quick settings from the top. It'll pull down the top menu, which you can also pull down from the top. And then here you can access some of your quick settings here. You have your Wi-Fi, you can turn on and off. You can go into standby mode. You can go into restart. You can access your Bluetooth 1, which is your phone Bluetooth. You can take a screenshot, and then of course you can control your brightness from here. You also have the speed up. So speed up will kill, basically clear your cache and kill all the apps. So if you notice that your head unit seems to be slowing down, you can hit that there and it'll kill all the open apps and potentially speed up your head unit. And sound will take you right to your sound settings in your settings. And then of course here are all your updates telling you what's been going on. And of course you can close those by just swiping to the left. Close those all out. You've got your clock, and then you've got your quick settings for your equalizer. You've got your mic. This is your display. We've already touched on that a little bit. And this is the mute. So interestingly enough, you can't do anything with the volume. So the screen itself has no volume control. All you can do is mute from here. You have to use the button here to access your audio level. But then once it's on the screen, you can control it. But there's no way to get it to appear on the screen by touching the screen that I know of. There may be some magical shortcut that I don't know about. And then just real quick, we'll just talk about what's up here. I'm not sure what these are. This obviously is your Wi-Fi. One of these is the battery, the internal battery for the Atoto, because I believe it has a battery in it. And I'm not sure what that one is up at the top. That may be your phone connection. So there you have it. That is the Atoto A6 Pro with the 10.1-inch floating screen. So let me give you my final thoughts, starting with the cons. It's running an old version of Android 6, which is quickly becoming outdated. So sound quality on this is not the best. It's pretty decent, but it does not have a digital signal processor, DSP. It is, your basic sound system. The other negative is that the screen quality isn't the best. It looks okay. It looks okay, and it is bright, but as I mentioned before, this plastic cover is soft, and it's got scuff marks from shipping it, and I'm afraid over time that it will scratch and scuff even more. Also, it just, in general, I think with only 2 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage, it's okay, but because of the limited RAM, I think it's going to slow it down, especially if you're running, say, a navigation app, and then you're running your car management software like what I run, plus you're running streaming music or something like that. And I think that's a big negative. I think it needs more memory in general, and probably can just use a hardware upgrade and maybe a faster processor as well. So let's talk the pros. What's good about this? I think, one, Atoto as a company is pretty cool. They have good documentation. They have a real support site. You actually sign up at their site at myatoto.com. The other pluses to this is that it does have amazing Bluetooth connectivity. So that's a big plus for this. And of course, it's got a physical volume button on the front, which I think is great. Also, the price is right. For under $300, this is a pretty decent unit. That said, I don't think this is the head unit for me. I may still install it just to see, but there you go, guys. That is the Atoto A6 Pro with the 10.1-inch screen. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. You think this is a decent unit? Do you have it? Do you want to get it? Ask me some questions. I'll be more than happy to answer you. Please subscribe so you get more updates later on as I upload more videos. And again, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you checking out my channel. Take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.